In the ethereal realm where rubber meets asphalt, a ballet of vehicular mastery unfolds, an art form known as drifting. A symphony of controlled chaos, it is the manifestation of elegance upon the canvas of a winding track. As the tires kiss the pavement with delicate friction, a maestro behind the wheel orchestrates this dance, manipulating the machine with a finesse that belies the raw power beneath the hood. A sublime fusion of skill and intuition, it is a ballet where the stage is set by the asphalt and the performer is the virtuoso at the helm. As a celebration for hitting 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to forget the timing sheets and spend this video drifting. The one problem is, I'm not really too good at it. However, I do have a pretty good excuse for why. You see, the wheel I use is a Fanatec Formula V2, which looks like this. This is much less than ideal for drifting, as I only have access to paddle shifters, and the wheel itself is pretty difficult to use once you get past a certain turning radius. However, I'm not going to let that stop me. In this video, I'm going to set out to drift a perfect lap on this track, something I've never actually done before using this wheel. Usually I play more serious racing games, so I figured I might as well do something fun for the big 1,000. That being said, thank you all for 1,000 subscribers. It's been completely crazy to see the progress on this channel, and I love every bit of it. Anyway, I need to practice. Let's get into some drifting. The first thing I needed to do was get a completely crazy tiger print livery on my Supra in order to drift better. Now that we have that, we can set off on this practice course, and hopefully this will teach me to learn to control the car better while drifting with a formula wheel, which is something that makes no sense whatsoever, but I'm going to do it anyway. Now obviously, if you look to the right hand side of the screen, you can see a pedal cam and a wheel cam. This is the first time I've done this on the channel, and honestly I really like how it turned out, so let me know in the comments if you want to see it again. As I've mentioned before, it's extremely difficult to drift with a formula wheel. The reason it's difficult is due to a lack of surface area on the wheel. For drifting, it's preferable to have a circular wheel because it has more surface area, therefore it has more stability. My wheel has the top and the bottom chopped off, which is good for more serious racing, but when you're drifting, it's hard for a few reasons. The first is that, again, it has less surface area, so it's hard to turn too far beyond 90 degrees because your hands have to be locked onto the handles. The second reason is that the formula wheel limits your ability to do a hand-over-hand steering method. When turning the wheel well past 90 degrees, there's nowhere to put your hands, there just isn't a place for them. If you watch the wheel cam, sporadically throughout this practice course, there are a couple of times where I have to take one hand off the wheel and basically use one thumb to steer a drift. It's definitely hard to get used to. The third reason it's so difficult to drift with the formula wheel, and this is a direct result of the last two items, is that it's much harder to let the wheel go and allow the car to straighten itself out. This is essential to drifting, especially in the longer corners where the throttle does all the work. Another difficulty with the formula wheel is a lack of a stick shift and a clutch. When the wheel is turned around, it's hard to shift correctly because the paddle shifters become reversed. I got used to this eventually, but it's still quite difficult. The reason you need to do this is because when drifting, a lot of the time you need to shift mid-corner. With paddle shifters, this job becomes a lot more cumbersome. Also, the lack of a clutch pedal limits the amount of leeway you have with the car around a corner, and if I had a clutch and a stick shift, the formula wheel would definitely be annoying to drift with, but nothing too crazy. I'll definitely have to put a Fanatec stick shift and a clutch on my Christmas list. All that aside, I have to say, I still kinda suck at drifting. I've only gotten used to controlling the car mid-corner by using the throttle, but I'm struggling to initiate a drift properly when heading into a corner. There are two corners on the track that I struggle with, and both of them have a braking zone right before the corner, which I'm trying to practice on this course. It's honestly quite difficult. What's weird is I'm using a button on the top right of my wheel as the handbrake, which is definitely kinda strange. This car is pretty insane though, it's super responsive to any input, whether that be the steering or the throttle, and it can definitely take a beating in the transmission department. So right here I'm continuing to practice using the handbrake to initiate a drift, and learning where to place the car in order to have a smooth line through the corner. This little circular area on the practice course has honestly been super useful to learn this. I'm definitely learning to improve the lines through each corner, and slowly working on getting better at initiating the drift. With this view of the car, it's looking a lot more stable mid-corner, and on the exit, I'm much smoother with the steering. It's really easy to kind of shake the wheel back and forth until you straighten out, which I guess works, but it looks really ugly. The whole point of this video and learning on this course is to have pretty, good-looking drifts so I can drift a perfect lap of that track. Finally, I'm working on the corners with braking zones before them, and honestly feeling pretty good. It feels pretty smooth, my throttle and steering is on point, and I'm comfortable initiating the drift. It kind of feels like I've worked out how to drift these kinds of corners, so I think that means I'm now ready for the track.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
Alright, back on track now, and this time we have our new and improved tiger print livery and some drifting experience under our belt. So hopefully that practice course can translate into some prettier drifting. The thing we're going to have to focus on is the first corner and the last corner. Everything else on this lap is pretty much okay. When I first was doing these laps, it wasn't too bad. I definitely could have made them a little bit prettier, but it wasn't, you know, too horrible. So the last corner and the first corner both have braking zones right before it, which makes it a little bit difficult to initiate the drift, but that's what we were practicing on the practice course. So hopefully that experience from the practice course can make a bit of a difference. Coming into the last corner now, downshifting to third gear, and it looks like this is a lot better than the last time we were on this track. A lot prettier. The angle of the drift is definitely a lot more, and a lot more comfortable throughout the entire corner. So on the main straight now and heading into the first corner, this is the one that has definitely been very difficult when we were first on this track. Looks like we can try to initiate the drift, but again, just sliding off onto the grass and gravel. I'm not really too sure what exactly to do to fix that problem. I think what I might have to do is treat the corner kind of like a double apex and kind of just break into the first half of the corner and then initiate the sliding, the drifting for the second half of the corner. So we'll have to see once I get there again. This is the final corner again. Again, this looks absolutely fantastic. A much prettier drift this time around, and definitely looks like the experience from the practice course paid off. But heading into the first corner again now, going to brake a little bit more, shifting down to third, going to stick it in third gear. Hopefully third gear is the one, and it looks like again we're just going to be sliding off the track. So kind of a difficult place to initiate a drift. Again in third gear. Third gear works for the final corner on the lap, but I guess not the first corner. The rest of the lap looks pretty good though, in second gear for pretty much the entire lap besides the first and the last corner, and second gear seems like kind of a sweet spot for the drifting. Hitting the handbrake right there, initiating the drift, and second gear is exactly what we need. Pretty much a perfect drift right there, right to the edge of the track, straightening out right away, and a very pretty drift. No wobbling back and forth on the exit. But as I was saying, the rest of the lap feels pretty good. As soon as I get past the first corner, that first kind of snaking double hairpins right there, that feels really good. I'm feeling very comfortable on that. And then there's kind of a quick left-right that I just passed. Feel really good on that. And then there's the final corner, which at the beginning I was a little you know, unsure about, but finally it feels like we're pretty solid on the final corner. So it looks like it's just the first corner to worry about now. So we're going to try shifting down into second gear this time, and hopefully this is a better result. And it looks like second gear actually might be the spot. Unfortunately, kind of over-correcting for a little bit too long right there, but it looks like second gear might be the way to go. So we're going to have to do that on our next time around into the first corner. But again, look how pretty these drifts look. They're a lot nicer than when I first started. So it looks like that practice course definitely paid off a little bit. Absolutely beautiful through there. And yeah, it looks like the a little bit of experience, or maybe it's a tiger print livery. One of the two has definitely helped me out. So I think for the most part, with using second gear on the first corner, we might have this lap down. A little bit of style points right there with the rear wheels on the gravel. But we're going to do our final run on this track. So heading down into the first corner, you can see on the right, unfortunately, the pedal cam died for the last run, which is super annoying, but breaking down into second gear, this is much smoother. Second gear was definitely the sweet spot for the first corner. A little bit shaky on the exit right there, but overall a pretty good run through the first corner, given that that was, you know, the difficult corner on this lap. Perfect sliding through the second corner, absolutely beautiful. Into the third corner now, this is a hard hit of the handbrake and pretty much a complete reversal of the car, like a total 180, and this one looks absolutely fantastic. Very smooth on the exit right there, not really shaking back and forth too much, and now into this quick left to right. Big wide drift to the right, and hopefully we can get a little bit of an angle on the left, just a little bit right there, nothing too crazy. It's a little bit hard to initiate a drift on that kind of second corner. Final corner of the lap now, we want a big angle for this one, and this one is looking absolutely fantastic. So that looks like a pretty close to perfect lap. Obviously, it could have been a little bit better, but I'm pretty satisfied with that one. So if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. And again, I really do want to say thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. It's absolutely crazy to see. I started this channel pretty much a year ago, and it's definitely cool to see the 1,000 subscribers mark. Obviously, I had a lot of trials and tribulations with the first videos that got maybe like 20 or 10 views per video. I was spending hours at a time, like grinding, you know, F123 or F122 my team mode, and I would spend hours recording and editing and trying to make sure it looked great, and I'd get like 10 views a video. So it was very discouraging, but I'm glad I stuck with it. And to everyone who subscribed, thank you so much. It's really, really cool to see 1,000 subscribers. I'm gonna keep going. Hopefully we can get to another milestone pretty soon. But it's definitely really cool to see 1,000 subscribers. It's also awesome. The Discord has a good amount of people in it right now, so that's really cool. I like getting questions from you guys. So if you made it this far and you haven't subscribed or joined the Discord, please consider both. The Discord's actually really cool. I want to get more people active in there so I can get, you know, more questions and kind of hang out with the kind of small community that's sort of gathered around this channel. So it's definitely been pretty cool to see that. If you have not joined the Discord, please consider it. Please consider subscribing as well. Again, thank you all for 1,000 subscribers. It's super cool. And if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.